Destiny Faith, welcome to the Ryber Sessions. Thank you so much for joining me. Newer artists on the scene. I know we were just talking before we got started about how you're putting out your first EP. You put out your first single a couple of years ago. First of all, I just wanted to ask you my very first question. I love to do this with new artists is how did you get your artist name?
So my artist name, growing up as a kid, around the time, uh, my brother's father was in the picture and he was
Mm,
the one who raised me. And at the time, he used to do music himself. He was a rapper.
mhm.
So pretty much like I was kind of inspired, because I saw that he was doing music and I'm like, oh, like, I want to try to do music too.
Yeah.
And my name is already Destiny. Destiny Faith came because like for some reason I always felt like during my life as a teenager I was always in like these obstacles. I was always
Mm,
going like challenges and stuff like that. And I always felt like I kept hearing the word faith a lot. Like no matter what I went through, there was
yeah.
always some, you got faith, I have faith in you. So I thought, Destiny Faith kind of makes sense, because
Yeah.
it's those are two powerful, strong words. So when you put them together, it's like it sounds fire. But yeah, that's how it
It
kind of
does
came.
sound it does sound fire. I got to give you that. Like it does sound cool. Like, if you had just said it just sounds cool, that would have been a good enough reason. Like it does, it's a cool name.
Right. So what had happened was I had asked my brothers, I was like, if I ever became famous one day, what should my artist name be? And
Right.
he was like, he thought about it and just automatically he was like, Destiny Faith. And I was
Yeah.
like, that sounds perfect, and ever since that day, I kind of just went with that name.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I think it's you kind of were talking about going through some obstacles and you definitely hear that in your music. I mean, all of your songs have some kind of something you're overcoming, I feel like. I mean, whether it's Unrequited Love, your very very first single from a couple years ago or, some of your newer ones off of your recent EP Closure.
Right.
It's there's always something that you have to overcome. Before you were making music, what things did you feel like you were overcoming?
Um, so when I was in high school, I used to get bullied, you know,
Mm, yeah.
either or cyberbullying. I was going through a lot. So I felt like during those times, I overcame that because it's like with my music,
Yeah.
like my music and because of what people were saying about me, like they would put me down, they would say I'll never make it, I can't sing, I'm not talented, or they'll say I'm ugly. They'll just put me down in any negative way possible. So overcoming that, I basically used my music and I kind of
Mm,
just what they said about me as a motivation,
right.
and that's like it for me. Like I just went up from
Yeah.
there
How long have you been making music?
for about 8 years.
8 years, yeah, because you've only been putting it out for a couple, but you've been making it a lot longer. What made you decide to finally take that leap and start releasing it publicly or on a bigger
So
scale, I should say?
yeah, so at the time, like when I was recording all these songs, because I still have unreleased music, it's just not out.
Right.
But I was never really taught properly how to release music. Like,
Mm.
at
Oh
the
yeah.
time I had my brother's dad helping me and guiding me through this. And I just wasn't doing things professionally. Like anytime I went to a studio, the music was never complete. I
Yeah.
was studios where the engineers didn't know how to work with me. So that's why I didn't really put out the product because it was never complete. The
Right.
only song at the time, which was 2021, I had dropped Unrequited Love as a
Mm.
single.
Right.
Um, and it's just after that, like 2 years passed, that's when I dropped the EP
Right.
Closure, which is out now.
Yep.
Um, like I said, it took some time because it's like nothing was done professionally and
Hmm.
I just the right help.
Yeah.
I didn't have that around me. So
Yeah.
that,
I think surrounding yourself with the right people, especially in music, is so important. It might be almost more important than the music itself, is surrounding yourself with the right people, because if you're not surrounded by the right people, you can't make the best music. And you just, kind of prove that. You know what I
that
mean? If you're not with the people that understand your music the best,
right.
then how are they going to help you make it sound as good as it should?
Mm-hmm.
That brings me to my next question, which is we're going to get into your songs individually, but speaking about having the right people around you, you have a friend of mine that's probably not too far from you right now. His name is Chris,
Yeah.
and you found him a couple years ago, and you guys have really worked well together in this music scene. And I'm curious about how you guys kind of met each other, and then how this music partnership really grew. Because he is one of the right people to have around, especially after listening to Closure.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So pretty much me and Chris, we had met last year in the summertime, and it was all because of music. Like I kind of like
Mm,
messaged, I was like, hi Chris, how are you? I kind of need help with music, like, because at the time I didn't have the right people around.
right.
I was just going, and yeah. So I reached out and he was willing to help me. He brought me to like these local gigs and open mics and stuff like that and got me out
Yeah.
there more. So ever since then, it kind of just went from there. He actually helped me get into like a big venue, SOBs.
Oh yeah, SOBs is dope, by the way. Like Cardi B came up in SOBs and all these artists that, like, I used to work across the street from it, my old office. SOBs is a dope venue.
Now, yeah, it was a great experience. I had fun.
Yeah.
Um, so like he really guided me and helped me with certain things. Like he showed me how to basically market music and how to drop music, you
Yeah.
know, different platforms and stuff like that. So
Right.
I get him for that, because it's like certain individuals didn't really teach me that.
Oh God,
So
yeah. And there's a lot to learn. I mean, the music industry is pretty cutthroat. And if you don't understand it, you will get taken advantage of pretty easily. People are really
definitely,
out there for that. I mean, music industry more than others, I feel like, is so bad at that. Like people really want to find out, how they can use you to get ahead in music. It really sucks.
right. And it's crazy because I actually came across a bunch of shisty people,
Oh,
and then
of
so
course,
I
you
already
know?
know like when that
Right.
when that.
I mean, if you didn't come across people like that, are you really making music? Like, I feel like they come with the territory a little bit. That's why it's so rare to find the right people and surround yourself with them. You got to hold them close. I'm
Right.
curious if before we get into your music, if you and Chris are working on anything collab, or if we're gonna just have to wait and see.
Well, it's funny that you say that because we actually are going to be working on a song together very
Oh,
soon. It's going to
nice.
come out very soon, so it's
Yeah,
in the making.
it's in the making. Is it a Destiny Faith featuring Chris Payne, or is it Chris Payne featuring Destiny Faith?
It's kind of both because
It's
we
okay. Yeah, co-artist. Call it
yeah,
co-artist. Yeah,
I got a song that I want him to feature on, and he has a song that he wants me to feature on. So
yeah.
but
Good
we got
stuff.
it.
It's a
We got a
fair
couple.
trade, right? Yeah, it's a fair trade for you guys.
Yeah,
Well, let's get into your music. Let's go in order. We'll talk about Unrequited Love first. That was the first single in 2021. That was my introduction to you. When I met Chris, he sent me that song and he said, you got to listen. And then you got to wait about a year because there's more music coming. And here we are now, about a year later, and there's more music. So let's start with Unrequited Love. How did that one get recorded? Where were you when you recorded it? All that good stuff.
I was in Mount Vernon. The studio is called
Mm,
Outrade, but I call it Jam Studios.
yeah.
Um, and I recorded it with a producer named Bahamas.
Uh-huh.
He's a producer. Um, and yeah, it was a while ago, but
It's
I
a
had fun.
powerful song. I mean, describe kind of the energy of that song. I mean, you're really singing from the soul there. Especially for like an O for like for a first ever single, you're pretty vulnerable on that one. Very
Right,
vulnerable.
right. That song, I was actually in an emotional state. It's about like pretty much loving somebody, but they don't really love you the same back. Like they don't give back that same energy.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I was kind of going through a little heartbreak at that time, so I kind
Yeah.
of through the lyrics.
Some of the best music comes out of heartbreak, you
Oh,
know? I think there's a little bit of heartbreak on Closure too, you know?
yeah,
Talk
definitely.
about we'll just go in order, right? Let's talk about it. Love Her, song number one. This one sounds like this one, and maybe don't take this the wrong way, but this one almost sounded like a little bit of a cry for help. Like I want love. Like who's gonna love me? It kind of sounded a little bit like, oh no, I wonder if she was okay when she recorded this song.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. Well, Love Her, I was really, really in my feelings with that one. Like,
Mm,
uh wow. Okay, where do I start? So that song, like, I kind of expressed my feelings about what I was going through at that moment.
yeah,
And I just wanted to be heard.
yeah.
And
You
and I
hear
want,
that. You hear that, Destiny. You hear how bad you want people to hear you.
of course.
Yeah.
So, I thought like when I heard the beat on YouTube, because that's where I found it, I'm like, yo, this is a fire instrumental. I have to
Yeah,
write. So, you know what I mean? Because at that time I was like, damn, it's like if I can't speak to this person, how can I let them know how I feel?
right.
And we wrote it in lyrics.
Mm,
That's how it came about. And
yeah,
I'm a of my favorite songs off the EP.
that is your favorite, or it's one of them?
One of my favorites.
One of your favorites? All right. Yeah, that's a powerful one. It's all interesting song to open up on, right? Because it's a little bit more like you could tell how emotional that was. But
Mhm.
I liked that I got the feel of who Destiny Faith was on this project right away. It was a great tone setter.
Right.
To move into complicated, right? Because I think this song, it took me two listens through to kind of totally get where you were going with it, right? So maybe
Right.
talk about like, what's the theme of the song? Where were you when you wrote it? Like what was going through your head and where were you maybe emotionally?
Okay, so actually with let me see. It was last year in the
Yeah.
summertime. Chris was around and I had told him, I was like, I want to write a song about something that like I kind of went through, you know what I mean, with my
Yeah.
past relationship. So he was like, okay, no problem. So we kind of like worked on it together, like he put in his ideas, I put in my ideas, and we just worked on it together.
Yeah.
Um, but the song, so we were just sitting outside one
Got
night
it.
to the beat, and we were just kind of like jotting like ideas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's how the song came about.
Yeah. That's dope. It's some of the best songs are the ones that just kind of come, you know what I mean?
For sure.
But I was listening to it and I could tell, man, it seems like, it was definitely a moment in time, that song. You could tell that that was about a very particular, like, that was a moment in time for you when you were going through something really particular, you know?
Right.
Like it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
just one of those things where it was like, oh, I'm just going through, I don't know what we're doing yet. You could tell this is something that someone that I really care about, that I really want to express these thoughts to. This wasn't just like oh, this is just anyone I'm, having a relationship with. This seemed more special to you than that.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I guess that'll bring us into brand new, which kind of introduces a little bit of a new side to Destiny Faith, right?
Yes. You
Yeah,
got it.
tell us what that side is, right?
Okay, so basically brand new is about like, a brand new Destiny. Like the old Destiny had to go pretty much, like she'd been through a lot and basically the new Destiny is on to better things.
What is the old Destiny, right?
The
I think
old Destiny.
that's what people want to know, Destiny. Who is the old Destiny before these songs started to come out, and who is the new Destiny becoming? That's what people want to know about you.
Okay. The old Destiny was a very emotional, vulnerable girl.
Mm,
She was someone that had went through a lot in life and pretty much overcame things on her own, But the new Destiny kind of just is a better version, she's more smarter, she makes better decisions.
yeah,
She's on bigger and better things in life and she's just trying to accomplish,
yeah,
goals as she
yeah.
goes. Basically, it's like the new Destinies, she's in the right path.
Oh,
No,
I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of life experience too. The new Destiny's had, right? A lot of life experience. Yeah, that's special. I like that song. I think my favorite one on the project that was Closure, title track.
closure.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but
I love
I love
it.
this song. I think it just, for me, it gave the project closure, right? Like I needed something at the end to bring it all together. We had this beautiful song about you wanting to be heard, and then we had this song about you going through something, and you know what I mean? You really had to talk to this one person in particular in a different kind of way. And then in brand new, obviously, we're like, okay, this is something that we're going to be hearing from Destiny Faith in the future, I'm sure. This is this new type of music, but closure kind of brings the whole thing together, right? Because there needs to be a summary of this. And so
That
tell us, kind of tell us how closure sums up this whole project.
closure. Oh my gosh. I love that song. Like literally that's probably like my top record.
That's your
But
one.
yes, yes,
I
it
love
will
that one.
be. Closure was actually written through emotion. Like I was very emotional at the time. I was once again going through a lot. And
How long ago did you write Closure?
I'm gonna be honest, I wrote it back in 2020.
So yeah, so this was like the old Destiny, right? The emotional one, the one that wasn't making the same decisions that she's making now, right?
Exactly. So basically, closure, it's kind of funny because it's like I got my closure without, speaking to that person physically.
Mm,
So everything came to the light, and that was the
right,
closure for me. And that's why, I named the EP Closure.
right, right.
Closure, it basically talks about like how I don't need closure. I don't need to go to people to get closure. Like I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me. I don't care what anybody has to say. I'm gonna live for me. You
Yeah,
know, it's like all I have is myself. That's why when I say, the person in the mirror, like at the end of the day, this is who I am, you
yeah,
know? So
yeah. You
I
know,
called it.
it's an interesting way to end the project, right? Because like I said, at first you're talking to the world, right? This is interesting. At first you're talking to the world, and then you're talking to one person, and then you're
Mhm.
talking to yourself.
Right.
And then on closure, I think maybe you're just talking to your soul, you know? Like brand new, you're like, hey, me, my entity as as a whole person, right? Is going to be brand new, but closure is internal. That's just my soul and what I'm feeling. And
Right.
there's this powerful kind of thing that I talk about sometimes with my therapist. Even it's called having an inner kind of like locus of control, which means that external things don't affect you internally, and it's
Right.
a powerful thing to have, and it's much easier said than done. It's really, really hard, and it's a process, right? You don't just have it overnight. But it sounds like this song for you is you talking about wanting that control over your internal emotions, and that is so powerful. And the way that you did it was cool. And I liked
Thank
the
you.
way that you talked to different people on this project in 4 different songs. You captured 4 different audiences, and it was a really fun listen. So thank you for
Thank you.
taking us through it. It's not always easy to talk about these times. You write songs, some of the best ones are the ones that are, born out of the shittiest times in our life. So it's not easy to talk about. But I guess look forward to what's coming next for you. I know you and Chris have a song coming out, but it sounds like more music is on the horizon for sure. I'm guessing more shows probably. What are you looking forward to the most? Anything you want to promote? Talk to the fans. What's up?
So pretty much I look forward to actually, dropping more music along the way and
Yeah.
getting visual out. Like I would like to do a
Oh
visual for
hell yeah. That'd be dope, Destiny. You have to do that.
I would like to do a visual for Love Her. Because I
Yeah, it'd be
feel like
fun.
it's very relatable. Like it's like, nowadays people try to normalize toxicity when it
Yeah.
comes to so it's like one of those songs where it's like, you know, it's kind of vice versa. Because I'm not gonna say it's just from the female perspective or female
Right.
point of view, because it goes for guys as well.
Oh,
But
for sure. I mean, I related to that song. Nope, no
and these
problem.
yeah, and these visuals, I just want to show that like, there could be good times in a relationship, but it's also going to show the bad times as well. Like not every relationship is going to be perfect.
Right.
I want these visuals to be very like bam, like
Yeah, like
just,
like the song, right? Yeah.
you know, basically, I want to put a message out there.
Oh, absolutely. Well, the song puts messages out there for sure. I mean, this is a powerful project, especially for a first effort. It's pretty awesome. So I'm excited to hear more music from you, Destiny. I'm excited to see what's next for you and Chris. Obviously, it's gonna be fun to see you guys grow musically. And I can't wait to interview you again when you put your next project out.
Oh, I look forward to it.
Yeah, thanks, Destiny. Listen, Destiny Faith, everyone, we're gonna put all the links in the bottom, so go check her out. EP out now, single out now, visuals coming soon, more music coming soon. She's busy and she's probably doing more shows in New York soon. So everyone stay tuned for Destiny Faith coming up. Destiny, thank you again.
Thank you again for having me.
Of course. All right, everyone, Riber Sessions.